The Seashore Library by Vector Architects conceives itself as an auditorium with nature as its ongoing play. The library sits on a stretch of deserted beach facing the East Chinese Sea. It is constructed far from the town's other structures in order to achieve a more direct relationship with the ocean. This isolation from the chaos of city life makes for a purified, serene experience, facilitating the movement from the profane into the sacred. It seeks to visually connect itself to the site, not aggressing nature but rather blending and asserting itself as an integral feature of the topography. This perceived harmony is achieved most notably through the apparent unity of the sand with the concrete structure, leveling the visual weight of the facade relative to the surrounding beach. From afar, the building looks like a weathered rock, retaining the Platonic identity of the rectangular prism with a strong visual inertia communicating its belonging to the site. Through a process of subtractive transformation, volumes are strategically extruded from the primary form in order to define fields of extroverted space revealing the ocean. This softens the structure's monolithic presence on the beach by avoiding to obstruct the natural view. The prism, here subtracted from the space, creates a passageway with a strong extending directionality towards the sea. The oblongness of the building emphasizes horizontality and thus strengthens the visuals of stability and connection to the ocean. The concrete structure was cast on-site over a timber board-lined formwork to leave behind a grained and outlined imprint, reminiscent of the marks left on the sand by the waves. The achieved texture lends a subtle tonal modeling to an otherwise static material, and gives the impression that the structure is part of the geological history of the site and has been organically marked by it through time. The treatment of material gives warmth to the structure, an intuitively felt temperature of space as described by Peter Zumthor. This warmth encourages an emotional connection with the space as its physicality touches us. The library can be separated into two parts, each denoting a different means of experiencing nature as the protagonist of the building's narrative. The spatial system is divided into a tiered reading room that occupies the center of the two-story library, while a meditation space, activity room, and bar occupy the auxiliary areas around its edges. These two parts are separated by a vertical window contrasting the structure's predominantly horizontal visual language. We will see that the first part is characterized by the movement of opening up, while the other presents an experience of intimacy and closing in.
The entrance of the building opens up towards the reading area, with a view entirely oriented towards the east. The room features a half-arched roof, directing the eye towards the main subject of the space, the ocean. The radius of the curvature is so large that the demarcation between enclosing and overhead planes is completely lost in favor of a visual of continuity meant to emphasize the view beyond the glass facade. The reading lounge opens up directly onto the beach through pivot walls that enhance the ambivalence between interior and exterior. To avoid interruption from any structural component, all the roof loads are carried by steel trusses in order to achieve an obstructed panoramic view window. As if giving the stage to the character of the ocean, the ground plane is divided into ascending platforms raised toward the back, forming stepped levels like the stalls of a theater, so that everyone has an unblocking view to the stage. The aligned lampposts form transparent spatial membranes, creating edges within the interior spatial zones. This separation strengthens the intimacy of each individual in his connection with the sea. Circular light wells puncture the vaulted roof, letting in the outside breeze. During 3 seasons of the year, sunlight streams through those narrow air passageways and project light spots slowly moving through time. So, the reading room not only stages the ocean's choreography through day and night, season to season, but also acts as a receptacle to the sun's passage and the surrounding breeze. Therefore, the architecture of the space is experienced as both a spatial and temporal art, with nature as the performer. In contrast to the reading area that is bright, open, and public, with evenly distributed light, the meditation space is rather dimmed, enclosed, and private, with sharp light and shadows. With only 2 slim openings, an atmosphere of contemplation is created where the sound of the ocean is ever present, but its image is out of reach. The drastically curved roof in this room creates a low terrace to the rooftop. At this area, people hear the sound of ocean, but cannot see it. In the activity room, the light well on the roof facing east and the clear story at west collect lights throughout the day from different directions. Warm and cold light overlap and tint the space simultaneously, becoming a tangible presence in the space. The dimness, the light, and the soundscape all create a reverential atmosphere as nature becomes a tangible force intimately connecting with the reader.